Oh, well, no, okay, so I took all the ones that were lost, you refer to very much half price bonuses. Next month, they're all like slightly on sale, but some of the books are only like 5% off.
Hey, I'm gonna put you on speaker, okay?
Probably like 8 or something.
Okay.
I'm trying to have some self-control.
Okay, if you wanna turn on your mics. And then we'll let Missy open the meeting.
All right, everybody ready?
Yep.
All right, we're going to call our regular meeting of the Wayne County Board of Education to order. It is 6 o'clock. And if you'll stand, we'll say the pledge. Mark, you want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let the record show that all board members are present in person except for Miss Johnita Jackson, who is with us by phone.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Are you seeing better?
She had a little surgery today, so she's going to join us by phone this evening. And we'll begin this evening's meeting with recognitions if we have any.
No recognitions this evening.
None this evening. All right, let's move on to our presentations, our measuring success with Nikki Steffi.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of updates tonight, but I'm going to pass this out. So our high schoolers, this past, we're in the SAT school day window, so they are finishing up their makeups right now. And last month, our ninth graders took the PSAT 8, 9, and our 10th graders took the PSAT 10. So I'll be reporting out on all of that data for high schoolers next month. We should have our SAT data by then. So the only data I have today is our attendance data update, which takes us to page 10, I believe. And currently, our percentage of students chronically absent is 28%. So that's up slightly from last month, but we're still below where we ended last school year at 33. So that's a positive. And I was just talking with Terry Lynn. We've got some different things going on in the schools for those attendance incentives, and she's got some other ideas we're getting ready to start working on to put more information out to parents and families about chronic absenteeism. And then if you go over to page 11, this is our staff chronic absenteeism data. So for our staff for April, 14% chronically absent, with 13% for our professional and 16% for our service personnel. And then over to page 13 is our updated walkthrough data, which with this month we had spring break in the mix, and so didn't have as many instructional days. So for the month of April, I pulled this data yesterday. We were at 100 walkthroughs, and within those, when looking at that think ratio, 18% were marked low, 45% medium, and 37% marked high. And then on the back sheet, the same walkthrough data, this is those participation ratios, which is that level of visible student engagement. And if we start off there, April, for the 100 walkthroughs, 7% were marked low, 23% medium, and 70% high. So not a lot of updates today, but like I said, next month we'll have that high school data to look at. And I do want to remind you that the GSA testing, the West Virginia General Summative Assessment, that starts on May 5th. So we have a couple schools starting the week of May 5th. The majority of our schools are going to be testing the week of May 12th. We will be having a visit from the State Department. They will be visiting CK Elementary during testing on May 6th. I will be there with them. And I think everybody's prepared and ready. Our teachers were doing walkthroughs today at Crumb and Fort Gay, and everybody's getting ready, preparing for this big test. So I'm eager to see how that turns out.
Now this year, the parents are going to have a new way to see how their kids performed. Is that correct?
Yes. So the parent portal launched last year. And this year, parents have been able to access last year's summative results as well as this year's benchmark for the fall and winter. But when they test this year, as soon as the student tests, parents will have immediate access to their child's scores. They have to have an individualized access code. So letters have either already been sent home or they have to be sent home prior to testing. So I just sent a reminder back out to principals to send those letters home. There's 2 letters. One is a letter that comes from the State Department that just notifies parents of testing. The second one is one where I have put each child's access code. So it's individualized letters that will go home. And then of course, if a parent forgets the code or loses the letter, they can contact the school and they can give them that code to go in and see their score. So parents typically have not received scores when they do their spring testing until fall. And now they're going to have that immediate access. So this is really exciting. And I'm going to be working at pushing that information out on our social media and make sure parents are aware of that. So,
Fantastic.
thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Very
thank you.
good. Thanks.
All right. Any good news to share? Anyone? None? All right. Moving on to our informational items. Special meeting on Tuesday, April 29th, beginning at 4 at Crum Pre-K 8. And then we'll adjourn or recess and resume at Tulsa High School beginning at 5:15 that evening as well. That's our LSIC meeting there. Special meeting on Tuesday, May the 6th, beginning at 4 at Spring Valley High School. That also is an LSIC meeting. A regular meeting on Tuesday, May 13th, beginning at 6, also at Spring Valley High School. And a regular meeting on Tuesday, May 27th, 6 o'clock here in the board conference room. Everybody okay with those?
Yeah, that works.
All right, moving on to our construction project updates.
Just a few quick updates. The room addition down at the Wayne Elementary School continues. And so the work that we laid out for you last time has been taking place as far as the decking going on. And it's coming together nicely. So we should be finished with that project this summer. So we're pleased with the progress there. The designs for the CK Alumni Gym, the basement, the renovations that are occurring there have been sent to the State Department for their review and approval. And then the Buffalo K through 8 project, we are in the final stages of design there and are just about ready to send that over to the state and should have that out for bid in May.
Have they got the traffic routing pickup lines?
Not yet. We've had 2 or 3 different designs that we've looked at and provided feedback. We're still waiting for the final.
I've been thinking about it every time I drive by.
Yeah. Once we get the final, I'll bring those to you and we'll present those here at one of the board meetings.
Sometimes it backs up to clear down to Route 75, you
Oh,
know.
yeah. Yeah, it's congested, that's for sure.
The sinkhole that developed out at Spring Valley at the soccer field, we did the pre-bid meeting for that today, and we'll do a bid opening on that next week. And then also we did a pre-bid meeting today on Lavalette Building 5. That's one of the buildings that's closest to the road. It needs a roof replacement. We did a pre-bid meeting for it today as well. Bid opening will be next week. So those items will be on the upcoming agendas.
That's fifth grade, fourth grade.
I'm not sure what grades are in there. Yeah. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our delegations this evening. We have several.
I think 10 total.
Okay. Just to let you all know, the rules for the delegation portion of the meeting are, we have 30 minutes to complete the delegation. So forever how many individuals want to speak, we'll divide that 30 minutes up. So
Be
since
3
there's
minutes.
10, we'll have 3 minutes apiece to present your information. The board will listen. We can collect the information. We're not allowed to respond or discuss. All we can do is collect that information, and then we'll review it with our superintendent, and he will be in touch with you individually. And we ask that you use no personnel names in any of your concerns. We can't have personnel being discussed in a public meeting. Okay? All
You want
right.
me to time it?
Sure.
Ms. Hall, I do have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you say no personnel names, if there's an issue with someone that's employed by the board, how do we discuss that without mentioning names?
You can speak generally about
Okay.
what your concern is.
Right, right.
Just no specific names.
Gotcha.
And if it's something that you feel like you need to do a specific name, then I can meet with you privately. And we just can't do that in a public meeting.
Understand.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we will begin with Ms. Jana Myers.
Jenna Myers,
Yes, ma'am.
where's she from?
Canova
Yeah,
works at CK
CK.
Metal.
So I want.
Come on, step up, Jana.
So sorry, so sorry.
it's all right.
We'll make sure the mics pick you up.
I had some concerns that I wanted to see if we could address in executive session because of some of the matters that I wanted to discuss. Is that something that we are able to do?
I don't know. I don't think we can do that. We could have you speak with our superintendent and then we can schedule that, put it on the agenda.
Okay,
So
so
that
that
we
we
can-
can schedule.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Um.
But if there's anything general in your concerns that you want to reiterate,
Okay. Well, wait. That's totally fine.
okay. So we'll get you and Mr. Alexander together and get a date and
Okay.
or the information we need to put on the agenda.
Okay.
Is that
Sounds perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but she's
Same.
not in there.
And Claudette and Lori, same thing.
All three?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So,
Jamie Tomlin.
Can you guys hear me from there since I'm right here?
Sure.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm here, with some concerns. I'm sure everybody knows what's going on at Crumb Pre-K through 8, without bringing any names into it. I know that there have been, like, we have a new baseball coach. I do know that, my son plays. My concern is that I would like to petition for an individual investigation on the spouse of said person that has been charged, because there have been multiple complaints from a lot of parents, for the administrative level at Crumb Pre-K through 8 in general, talking principal, everything. I would like for all of that to be investigated as well as his spouse, moving forward, just so that we can feel safe sending our kids back to school.
Okay, so you have a specific personnel complaint then about one individual?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, more than one, but yes.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll contact you, get the specific information, what your concerns are, and then I'll look into it and then report back to the board. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll be in contact with you no later than tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
Tiffany Shelton,
Do you need me to come up there?
Sure.
please.
Yeah. Give me these names later, Missy, okay?
I will.
My concern
Okay,
is
thank you.
with Crumb Pre-K through 8. I've had known instances of the principal calling, asking why my kids are not in attendance. My kids are not in attendance because the bus is not running by our house. I've called and asked the bus garage, and it was said that it was due to the bus driver's discretion where he runs and where he does not run.
What bus do your kids run?
My children ride the Webb River Bend Road bus. The road has slipped off. If you know anything about our state road department, they're never going to fix that road. So my question is how does she have the right to call my ex-husband and ask my ex-husband what my work schedule is? When he doesn't even know what my work schedule is?
Okay, and you said Webb River, what was the other road?
Webb and River Bend.
River Bend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, let me follow up with you as well. I'll follow up with you tomorrow
I
about
called
your,
the bus garage today and I asked to speak to the director and I was never given a phone call back also.
yeah, he's in a state transportation meeting out of town, but I'll make sure you get a call tomorrow, okay?
Okay. As far as my kids' attendance goes, I asked if my children could make up their work.
online, if possible. If they could, if I could come in and pick up their work, and I was told no to both of those situations. I was speaking very rude to, and I would like an investigation open on the principal because a lot of the children said that the school was run like a jail.
Amen.
Thank you.
You ready, Johnita?
Yes.
Okay. Kimberly Justice.
And my concern would also be with Crum pre-K through 8. I do not feel the children are safe at that school. I do not feel that their mental health is intact at that school. They are being bullied, not only by children, but also by the staff there. And if more parents would stand up, you guys will be more aware of this situation. And hopefully they will start to do that after this point. There's so many instances that go on. Children are, they're being put behind if they're not related to the staff at the school. And it's just pick and choose at that school. I feel like the principal needs out of there. Something needs done. There's so many things that's happened. My children have come home injured without me being notified of it. And I had to contact the Board of Education and be like, my child come home. I didn't even know what happened. At one point, my child had a concussion. And I was not even aware until she got off the school bus with a black eye and a cut down her face. And once I contacted the board, they contacted Nona and said that she had to file an incident report. But I've had nothing but problems out of her over and over and over with both of my children at that school. And so at this point, I am going to take my children out and homeschool them. Other parents several have already taken their children out yesterday and today. There will be more taking their children out because of this principal and because of this school staff. And that is my concern.
Thank you. Justin Justice.
Justice.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Well, my name's Justin. I'm not used to this, so bear with me. So I'm the father of 2 kids who go to that school. Not only my family members go to that school. Okay, so everybody has deep feelings with family and everything through everything. So we all talk, and it's not nothing bad, belligerent, or nothing like that. It's not doing that. Well, this come home, like my wife explained to you, my children my youngest one has been done that way on 3 field trips. And the teachers, who I don't know who they are, so I can't name names, so has went with them. And my daughter had a cut over one eye, and I can't remember where the other cut is. That's on the other side, where a boy punched her. And she went up there to tell the teacher that I'm bleeding, and the teacher tells her just put her shoulder over it, it'll be fine. That's not how you control that, and that's not how you do this. So as me sitting up here talking about it, yeah, I get a little bit mad because it's my children. Okay, so who else is going to stand up for them other than the parents? So, and at the school and everything, people's going to tell you, and they've already told you, that it is run like a prison. When you walk in there, you are not asked how you doing, what do you need, what can we help you with, or anything. It's they look at you like you're stupid, and I want you to tell them what you need. Well, evidently I'm there to get my kid, so it's not, it's obvious, but it's just no respect at that school. And my oldest one has been bullied at that school. And as parents, you don't want your kid bullied, even though if you were the bully in school, when you was in school, or you got bullied, you don't want to be bullied. So I've talked to my kids, and I talked to my kids, and in parent situations, they're going to tell you how to take care of the problem. Okay, whether that's do it back to them or what. You get what I'm saying? It comes down to that. Because if you go and talk to the principal or teachers or anything, you don't get nothing out of them.
No.
You get pushed aside. Don't worry about it. And like my child, my oldest one, has been there for 8 years. She has got straight A's. Never got Never got student of the month or anything. Never, not once.
Never student of the month, never.
Never. Straight A's all 8 years. She's never a problem. But when she tries sports and stuff out, she gets pushed aside and everything else because of family. They're not in the clique. What you want to say down there? They're not in it and they're out.
And
Okay,
it's not
I
just
got
for
you.
children.
It's not just our children.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
It's everybody's children down there. Even if the parents are too scared to come up here and say anything, it's still their children.
I understand.
I'm standing up for theirs, not only mine.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but
Yeah.
us doing this is gonna cause our children to get picked on when
Yes.
they return to school.
Yes.
Because it's happened every time.
Okay, Nona Fields.
Yeah, I'm speaking on Crum School as well. My grandkids go there. I have Grandparents' Day. I go. You're not welcome. You're not allowed to walk your kid to the locker, to their classroom. All the kids cry to go home. I've never seen nothing like it. Look, I'm 62 years old. I've been in a lot of schools. This is a prison. The school is like a prison. The children come home, they're upset, they're scared of the teachers. They're scared of messing up on any kind of grades because they say, you don't know what we're going through at school. And I'm speaking of a lot of my family's kids that go there that I see, they're having the same problems. So something needs to be done. And it's the principal. She's the main one. And she's allowing all this stuff to go on at the school. And something's got to be done.
My daughter suffers from extreme anxiety from that school.
Yes.
My
It's
child
She
is
is
starting to.
petrified.
My son is
I
starting
mean,
to as well.
if y'all would just.
Okay, we're going to follow up with each of you directly, okay?
Thank you.
Promise.
Robin Spalding.
Do you need me to stand up?
Sure.
Okay, I don't know, because of the things that were said earlier, if you can answer my question.
Unfortunately not.
Okay. Well, let me just start by saying I'm here for the pre-K through 8 at Crum as well. Everything that these people so far have stated, I can tell you straight up is a fact. I'm 60 years old. I put 4 kids through Wayne County schools. This is nothing new to me. I know all about how things run. When you go south of Wayne, and I'm going to go all the way back here to my grandson. I have a grandson and a granddaughter both at the middle school at Crum. But they went to Dunlow. When the principal that's at Dunlow started at Dunlow, the parents were no longer, grandparents, parents, you're no longer welcome there. And I don't care what they tell you. I used to walk into the school when my children were in school. I realize this is a different day and age. But if you want children to excel, it takes not just good schools, not just good teachers, but it takes parental involvement. Because if you don't start at home, you have nothing to work with when you take them to school. That school over there, I worked at when I was cook. I'm here to tell you right now, it's a boot camp. Those children are really, literally, these people are telling you the truth.
Yeah.
And when you walk in that school, you're not made to feel welcome.
No.
If anything happens,
No, you
extracurricular speaking, sometimes the principal will be there. Sometimes someone else will be there. You don't know if it's going to get handled. We had a situation with my grandson last year. All that aside, these complaints are legit. I just want to say that. But I think that as far as the situation that's going on right now, I don't know who approves these air quote civilian coaches. I'm all about parent involvement. Don't get me wrong. I have a son who has my granddaughter. He helps with her softball team. He's a straight up dude, okay? He's mine. But I'm here to tell you, just because they come out of my deck, I will still call a spade, okay? If he had done or been accused of what that coach was accused of, he would be in the Western Regional Jail. I would not pull him out. I would not let his wife or anybody else pull him out. I'm not a violent person, but we're speaking about children here. And he has a wife who works there. Now, let me tell you something. I know I'm speaking to the majority of men here, but Missy, I think you'll agree with me. You don't live with a man and not know. You don't know about a man. You don't know what his preferences are. You don't know that there's something wrong. I don't buy it, guys. I do not buy it. I'm requesting that she be formally investigated and put at leave until that is conducted.
Absolutely.
I'm also requesting her supervisor, which is the principal. I would like to know, because it's been told to the parents
Yeah, we heard.
that
Okay.
she stood up and vouched for these people to coach. Now, I think that the people need to be aware. I think we need to know, who is it that okays these? Are there investigations? Are you going out into the public, into the communities and saying, who are these people that we're letting coach our kids? And then there's the issue of closed practices. Closed practices. You can't even walk in a gym and check on your kid. I don't think so, people. There's something wrong when parents are excluded and said, hey, you're not welcome here. I don't buy that. And I've got athletic children.
Robin,
Yeah.
we're
Certain parents
we're
are
on the
allowed
time.
in the gym though, Robin.
Pardon me?
Certain parents are allowed in the gym. If you're in the clique,
Well,
you're allowed in there.
this is a school system and it's taxpayer money and there's no clicks.
Mine won't be going
Gotcha.
back until an investigation's done.
Okay.
Exactly.
Pamela Jude.
Pamela Jude.
My husband could rot in jail.
All right. You said your piece.
I'm also here for Crum. I would like for the principal to be investigated, and I would also like to back her on having the spouse at leave until she's formally investigated. The school sends people home, the kids home, without notifying anybody. And they'll post it on the Facebook page when a lot of us are at work and we can't have our phones to check. My child has been sent home with pump knots, cuts, bruises, and I've not been notified. My oldest daughter has been bullied so bad over the last couple of years that she was self-harming. And when I took her back to the school and told the principal and the guidance counselor about it, I was told that it wasn't bullying, it was just bad behavior, and there's a huge difference. And my child self-harmed and had to be put in a mental hospital for over a week. And she's 11. And what else was it? I don't remember. We have a school Facebook page that is supposed to be information for the parents, and we were commenting on there wanting to know what precautions were being taken for our kids' safety.
We were ignored.
We were completely ignored, and I have proof. The principal took down all of our posts. She had reported our posts on our own personal Facebooks to have them taken down. And I sent her a personal message asking if the spouse was going to be there, because I don't feel safe with my children being around her until she's investigated. And I was completely ignored. And
Well,
I
she
don't-
actually deflected back to Mr. Alexander's comment on the news.
Yeah, but she, this was after she said that to follow the news if we wanted an update.
We're not given any information.
No.
No,
Nothing.
if your kid gets down there and falls and breaks its arm, it could be the end of the school day before you even know anything. And that'd be like 9 o'clock in the morning.
And if you're somebody like us who cares and comes and speaks out and have spoken to her in the past or to anyone in that office, you are pretty much blackballed after that, and your child every single day they miss, whether they're sick or not.
Just like I
And
said
that's
here,
what I
our
said.
kids gonna get blackballed.
Yeah,
I would
My
like to
child
petition
failed.
for a new principal.
Amen.
amen.
Yes.
I will
My
be
child
taking
fell
both of
and
mine
hit her
out.
face, cracked dead on
Okay,
the
we gotta-
table.
we gotta
And
do
if it
one at a
wasn't for
time.
The teacher being her cousin, I would have never been informed.
10 seconds.
So what we'll do is we will follow up with each of you individually regarding your concerns, and if you have anything you want to add at that point, and we'll start doing that tomorrow, okay? So we'll be in contact.
Sounds great.
Do you
Okay.
have our telephone numbers?
Did you all list your numbers on the paper?
No,
If you did not, please come up and
Yeah,
list your
just
Will
make
numbers.
our
sure.
children further be counted absent over things they cannot control when we don't feel safe and we don't have answers yet?
Yeah, if they're not physically at school, they have to be,
Well,
they have to be
as
counted
usual,
absent.
yeah.
As usual, and then we've been threatened with CPS and everything else because our children are not in school because we can't get them to and from school.
it's
And
not-
it's a safety concern.
Right, it's not about
And a
what went
safety
on there,
concern.
it's the safety concern about what's gonna be
Everything,
happening.
everything.
We'll follow up tomorrow, okay?
The school's not normal. It's not a normal place.
Does anybody else need to put their number on?
Phone numbers on here.
Is that all the delegations?
On there just in
Yes, yes.
Just make sure.
I would
Like I
just,
was gonna say earlier, if you walk down there when the kids are getting dropped off in the morning, and it still goes on almost at the school year today, and at the end of the school year, you will still see more than half the students crying not to go in.
It's
Yeah.
pitiful.
it's
I had-
sad.
There's
I had
reports.
10 seconds
And
left.
this is not.
I would
Go
like-
ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't forget. Sorry. Hang on.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
So
That's
you
all right.
can hear the teachers screaming at the children down the hallway.
Okay.
Not only is my oldest one has been in class, and I don't know if it's, me personally, I don't think the teachers play this way, but taking pencils and hitting them in the head and stuff,
Yeah,
that's, no.
that's abuse.
That's it.
And this
That's
happens
right.
every day.
This
Every day.
This happens every day, not just to mine, to everybody.
And they tell the kids that they've been there so long that they will never be fired, no matter what they do.
And that is
Or
correct.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you have some things you want to add, and when we call, you can add that information as we go, okay?
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for listening to us. And
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate the
um,
information. It's,
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
it's always open to anyone who
Yes,
wants
ma'am.
to
I appreciate
come and
that
give those concerns. So
you guys
I remember
listened
what
to
I was
us and
gonna
gave
say.
us our chance.
absolutely.
My 11-year-old was pulled into a private room this year over being bullied, and she was told that the principal was going to call the law on her
Mhm.
Yeah,
because she stood up for herself.
So
At
if
this
you
point-
teach, if you teach your kid not to take up for itself, which is in the time of day, like I was talking about earlier, about parents have to do what they have to do. If the teachers is not, and the principal's not gonna do anything about the bullies, you know who a bully is and you know who ain't one. And if that kid's still doing it, if it's gonna fight back, you gonna sit there and let somebody hit you, you gonna fight back.
Right.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
Make sure that
That's,
you air all those concerns, all those other issues when we contact, okay?
Okay, thank you all, thank you for
Appreciate
coming.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right,
So we will be in contact, okay?
can I please point just one more thing out?
Real
It's
quick.
a safety issue.
Sure.
My worry is that she did go and bail him out. So at that point in time, she knew what he was charged with. He is out.
Well,
Now,
I promise you, we'll deal with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can
so
talk to you
that's why
directly
I
about that
don't
concern.
feel safe sending mine back, because what if she may not condone it
I
and they may be into it and he may come to the school
I
after
understand.
her.
I get
And
it.
that's
I
all of
understand.
us.
We'll
So,
let us do some
Yes. Thank
investigation
you.
and then
Thank
we'll
you so much.
we'll go from there. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
thank you.
You all ain't probably aware, but she burnt all the information.
Yeah, she told over the classroom, speaker, teachers, have your rooms clean
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yes. When the cops showed up at her house, she was burning all the information.
Okay. Superintendent reports?
Yep. Next up, Senate Bill 650. So I mentioned I mentioned about this Senate bill a few meetings ago, and it has passed the legislature. I don't know if the governor signed it yet or not, so I don't know that it's 100% official, but I believe it's
Going to be.
headed that direction. So we have a meeting scheduled Thursday with our elementary principals regarding planning for this for next year. So if you turn to page 2, you'll see the changes underlined that were made in the code. So this was the original law that allowed for ECATs to be added to first grade, second grade, and then third grade. And third grade was to be added next year, this coming school year. And so the legislature made a change, and they are now allowing for full-time interventionists to be hired and assigned to up to 2 classrooms to satisfy the requirement of subsection A, and that's for an ECAT to be in every 3rd grade classroom. And so if I'm not mistaken, this allows for this to occur at certain grade levels. I think it's 2nd and 3rd grade. Our 2nd grade ECATs are in place, and they will remain in place for next year. So what we're considering is, what do we do at the 3rd grade level? Do we do ECATs? Do we do interventionists? Do we do some combination of both? And so we're going to be meeting with our elementary principals on Thursday of this week, and having discussion around the topic and start making plans for next school year. And if you'll see the second section that's underlined, it says the part-time interventionist may only be assigned to 1 classroom for the purposes of satisfying the requirements of subsection A of this section. So if you hire 1 interventionist, they can work with 2 classrooms. If you hire a part-time interventionist, they can work with 1 classroom. So if you have a school that has 3 3rd grades, you might do 1 full-time and then 1 part-time. And so we have multiple schools that have 1 3rd grade. So what we'll be looking at is, if we would go this direction, is an itinerant position that would go from school to school. So we have to work through all that. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Go ahead and put it on your radar. I had mentioned when I brought this up was when we were creating positions for next school year, we did not list all of the ECATs. And the reason that we didn't was we knew that this was a possibility.
So the interventionist, the advantage of having an interventionist is opposed to an ECAT is the interventionist is an actual teacher.
Interventionist is a certified teacher that can provide those services. And
as opposed to an ECAT.
Some counties are having difficulty filling the ECAT positions,
right,
or filling it with appropriately qualified personnel. And so there was a request for relief. And what's interesting about this, when this legislation was first passed, we had petitioned the State Department from Wayne County to allow the flexibility
either or
to do this.
Yeah.
And because we had a bunch of interventionists in place at the time.
right.
And but it's a few years down the road now, and there's more flexibility being given with it. And if you remember, when we talk about budgeting, what they look at is they look at the total number of 3rd graders in the district. And then a 3rd grade classroom is allowed to have 25 students max in it. So they divide the total number of 3rd graders that the district has, they divide that by 25, and then that's the number of ECATs that we're provided funding for. But
we may have
kids don't come in nice, neat little packages.
Right.
When you have schools with 1 3rd grade class, if they have 15 kids in there, we end up having to fund some of the positions ourselves.
right.
So with this particular bill, the money's not going to change. They're still going to fund based upon the ECAT formula. If we do an interventionist, the fact that they're allowing them to work with 2 different classrooms, what that does is it gives you the salary of 2 ECATs to be able to cover that teaching position.
Gotcha.
And so, and I should point out that the original bill did allow for interventionists, but you had to hire an interventionist for every single classroom.
Right.
And you were only getting funded for an
For
ECAT
ECAT.
position. So the county was responsible for the additional funding if they did hire an interventionist. So we're going to be talking through all those things and coming up with a plan for next year. I'll be bringing the positions to you to create once we finalize what that plan is.
Is there interest among the interventionists that will let go, that they want to come back, or do you know?
Well, those folks are in other positions now. They're in other full-time positions, but I'm sure if there was an opportunity there that some of them will try to take advantage of that if those jobs end up being posted. But again, we've got to look and see, what mixture is going to work and which direction we want to go with it.
Gotcha.
I'm understanding you, this looks like beneficial.
I think it will be, yeah. Yeah, I think
That
it will
helps with alleviating some of the rifts of the professionals.
be. It will, if we post interventionist jobs, yes, it's going to immediately create additional positions for those people to move to. Okay.
But.
Great.
But we won't do all interventionists, right?
That's to be determined. We have to, we have to determine what that's going to look like. So for example, if you have if you have 3 classrooms, do you want to do, one ECAT and 1 interventionist? Do you want to do a part-time interventionist? We have to determine what that looks like. So that's
what I was wondering, because we could have the itinerant interventionist, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Travel to 2 schools if
yeah,
needed.
without the decision being made yet, we
I
could,
know,
we
I
could,
was just thinking,
we could come back to you and tell you we want all ECATs. We could come back to you and tell you we want all interventionists, or we could come back and there could be a mixture of the two. So
okay, I'm just wondering.
Yep.
I was wondering, with the difference in cost is what I was thinking.
I suspect that they're going to be interested in adding interventionists at the 3rd grade level. I suspect that that's the direction it'll head. But again, we have that meeting Thursday, and we'll start collecting feedback.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay. And I talked to one of the other counties. We've been extremely fortunate. Our ECATs have done extremely well, almost without exception. As we visit the schools, we hear about how valuable that they've been. And I know the training that's been set up and the way that the ECATs participate in that, they take their job seriously. We've been fortunate. I've heard stories from other counties where the ECATs aren't nearly as effective as what we've seen here. So we appreciate our people that are working at the kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade levels.
Obviously been very helpful.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I will mention about the calendar. I'd mentioned at a previous meeting. Yeah, I'd mentioned at a previous meeting that we were going to have to extend the end of the school year by 1 more day. And by the way, when we had announced that before, we had announced that if we missed any more days, we would have to extend it by 1 more day. But we put the announcement out today through our social media channels about, the extension till June 9th. And believe me, I'm the
I
last.
bet the kids are really cheering that.
Oh, yeah. I'm the last person that wants to extend the year,
Right.
especially when you're into June and extending it to a Monday. But we don't have a choice. We have to have 180 days in our instructional calendar. The county uses 5 NTID days, which we apply for every year. And so those are days that do not have to be made up. In addition, we have bank time, which means that we have at least 30 additional minutes in each of our school schedule. And that allows us to not have to make up 5 additional days that are weather days. So we have missed a total of 12 days. 5 of those days were forgiven for NTID. 5 of those were forgiven for bank time. And then the additional 2 days, those are the 2 days that we have to make up. We have to use our OS days to do that. So that's why we have the 2-day extension to the end of the school year. Now, those OS days on the calendar that we approved last year, those OS days last through that entire week of June 9th.
Mhm.
So there's additional makeup days that are still there. So I know the question has come up about, there's been some news coverage about counties receiving waivers. The counties that received waivers, you had to use up all of the options available to you before you requested a waiver. And with us having the 5 NTID days, the 5 bank time days, it would have been necessary for us to use up the OS days before we were considered for a waiver, and we have not done that. We've only used 2 of those days. And so the counties that are receiving the waivers, they went beyond those OS days, or they didn't have the bank time, that type of thing. So I know sometimes people think that we just didn't take the time to apply for the waiver or things like that. But the bottom line is our calendar that we created still had flexibility in it for making up days that we were to use before we were eligible.
Gotcha.
That's all I have.
Perfect. All right. Moving on to our board directives?
Yeah, I do have a board directive. Frankly, I'd like Mr. Alexander to respond to something. Last week, the April 16, 2025 Wayne County News had an article, and in that article, it referenced a written statement sent to the Wayne County News by Pamela Swope, Director of Playmates. And in that article, among other things, it said, quote, Swope, said that as of Friday, the board majority had not yet publicly explained why it voted to donate the building, referring to the Westmoreland building, to the Vinson Westmoreland Historical Society. Further quote, this is the definition of putting politics over people. Playmates had a plan, had the funding, and most important, had the kids in mind. It's incredibly disappointing to see their needs pushed aside. Local youth will lose access to a safe, supportive environment that has served as a second home for over a decade, unquote. Well, I was at that meeting. I'm getting older. My memory's not as good. That's not what I recall. I would like Mr. Alexander to respond.
Yeah, so as far as the Westmoreland Teen Center is a joint venture between Wayne County Schools and Playmates. And we have to apply for a grant through the State Department of Education. Playmates runs after school programs for Wayne County Schools. The Teen Center is one of those programs. But we've started this conversation about the property down at Westmoreland and the fact that we can't keep a former building open for one program that operates approximately 2 hours a day. And we can't put our money that's spent on facilities into a facility for that just for one teen center, and that we have space available. Vinson Middle School specifically has a number of rooms that are empty there that could house the teen center, and that's worst case scenario. If somebody that takes over, if the historical society, if they have room for the teen center, or if that fits within the schedule, that's a possibility. All that's to be determined. But we were clear with Mrs. Barker from the beginning that if we did move on from the property, the teen center would still have an opportunity to operate. We would offer an alternative site within the district. And that discussion's been going on for 6 months or longer. So it was disappointing seeing some of the reports that the program was going to be shut down. I think it was just misinformation.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any other comments? Okay. Any board reports? None heard? No unfinished business? Move on to our new business consent action items. The superintendent recommends approval of the following action items. Additional items received prior to the time of the meeting may be added. Discussion and/or separate action of items may be requested by members of the board and/or the superintendent. Items are subject to change. Any blanks will be filled prior to the meeting. In the event a nominee withdraws, we reserve the right to put the next candidate in the position. Number 1, consider for approval the recommended personnel matters, pages 1 through 10.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Let me make a few revisions.
We do have.
Yeah, there's a revised.
copy.
And all the revision was filling in the name that was blank when you originally received your agenda. But there's a couple other things I want to adjust as well. So on page 2, the third item down under employment is, I'm sorry, that's the wrong spot. Skip that one. Go to page 3. It's the third item down on page 3 under request for leave of absence. Alexandria McLeod is being hired into a liaison position, post-secondary liaison position that's funded through Mount West. And she was also listed on this agenda to be on FMLA through June 30th. That date should have been June the 15th.
Okay, because I was wondering about that.
Well, usually when we get those requests, they'll usually extend them out to the end of the academic year, just in case, God forbid, we would have to go to school past June 15th. But they usually extend it out just in case there's a change in the end date. So that's what happened here. But in her particular case, if she's going to assume that summer job, she needs to be off leave by June 15th. And that's actually is what is in her specific request. So I want to change that date to June 15th.
Okay.
And then 2 more pages back, you'll see where Jared Combs is the name that's going into the blank for the 8-hour custodian at Spring Valley High School. And that's effective.
How's it spelled, is Jared?
Jared.
Okay.
And the 2 hirings above that, Kevin Pack for Playmate Summer Camp bus operator and Timmy Thompson, Energy Express bus operator, Fort Gay. I'm gonna pull those tonight. Those two gentlemen are going to be in those positions. We're still there's still some debate about which should be in which position. So we're still going back and looking through records on summer seniority to determine who goes into which position. So I want to be 100% certain before you approve it. And those positions don't start till June, so we've got more time. So I'm going to pull those 2 for this evening.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Also want to mention on tonight's personnel matters, we have the probationary contracts for approval. So again, employees in their first 3 years of employment are on a probationary contract. And if we determine not to approve one of those probationary contracts, the way that works is the person is simply not listed on the agenda. And then tomorrow we have to send a letter to the person letting them know that they were not recommended for renewal on the probationary contract list. And then once they receive that letter, they have a right to a hearing. So it kind of works exactly the opposite from our normal processes, but that's the way that it works in code. So we did have a few probationary contracts that we're going to recommend not be renewed. But again, we do that through their absence on the list, and we give them notification, and then they have a right to request a hearing at that point.
Gotcha.
So what you have here is your probationary folks that are being recommended for renewal of contract on both the professional and service side.
Under your secretaries on page 8. Is that correct spelling?
Yes.
Okay, just double check.
Now what?
I was just checking on a spelling of a name.
Oh, okay.
It was an odd spelling, but
Me
it's
too.
it's
I
correct.
wondered the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just double check. Okay.
I just had one minor question,
Sure.
as usual. With Kathy Nelson, this long-term leave of absence,
Mhm.
I mean, is it,
That's
not sick leave, it's just,
the long-term leave of absence is employees that have worked for 10 years for the board are eligible to take a leave for up to a year, basically without cause. That's what this is.
well, I knew that, but it's without pay, right?
Correct.
Okay, because it didn't have on here, because I knew what the long-term leave was, but it didn't say whether it was paid or unpaid, and I thought, well, if it's, because I know about the 10-year policy, but I didn't think, I thought it should have unpaid.
Yeah. A couple other things I'll mention is at the bottom of page 1, the kindergarten college teachers at Buffalo Elementary. That's being funded through the after-school program that we do with Playmates. So that the funding comes from that program. That's the bottom 3 positions. That kinder college program is like it's like a 2 or 3 day thing. And so it's a very short thing. But
Is it like an introduction to kindergarten?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the middle of the page, there's a termination listed there. And this was a RIF letter that we got out after the rest, and that's why it didn't appear on your agenda before. This is for an extracurricular position. It's for the speech and debate position at Spring Valley High School. The reason that we're doing this is because we have had difficult times filling the speech and debate positions at Wayne High School and Tulsa High School. So we're actually exploring if we can do a county-wide program for speech and debate. And so our intentions is to come back and possibly post a county-wide position. And so that's why we're eliminating the individual school position.
Okay. So I need a motion for the revised
Motion.
personnel. Motion by Randy, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Johnita. Sorry, Dennis, she got you.
Yeah, Dennis.
Any other questions or concerns on our personnel matters? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 2, consider for approval the purchase requisition order in quotes in excess of $5,000 on pages 11 through 17. Motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Johnita. Second, Dennis.
I'll second.
Questions, concerns? 11 through 17. So the fence at CK
That's through that
grant.
that we obtained from the Department of Education through the Safe Schools grant. So
Great.
and then anything you see with the account number 61 on it, that is through Jeb. The 61 account is for the CTE funds and other special projects.
So the turnkey package for license, is that for a specific program, I'm assuming?
My question too,
Yeah.
Missy.
Yeah, that's a program that prepares students for the NOCTI that they take at the end of the year.
Gotcha.
And it's used for a variety of programs, including therapeutic services, the law and public safety.
Is that like the soft skills and?
No,
No,
it's
different.
it's academic skills that are specifically tied to their program.
Okay.
I think Greg said that the welding program uses it as well, but it prepares them for the NOCTI.
Okay, so it's NOCTI,
I say NOCTI. I've heard people say
NOCTI.
NOCTI. I don't know.
NOCTI
which is
prep.
correct.
That's what we'll call it.
I like that.
The 25 student, whatever looks like it's been scratched out or whatever, explain that to me. What does the
It's 25 student licenses.
So at least
25 student licenses and 6 teachers and it's $15,450?
Well, no, I take that back. It's 25 students per course. I think there's 300 student licenses,
Okay,
Okay.
6
that makes-
teachers.
I see that 300.
yes, student.
We need to quit abbreviating this stuff so we can actually know what we're talking about.
That's why there was some scratching on there.
Right,
And then the Saxon Phonics purchase that you see on there, that is through title funds, individual school title funds.
Yeah. I think we've heard every school, every elementary school loves that program, so that's always a
I
good
know.
one. And then we have Carnegie on-site for professional development.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And that's through title funds as well, through
Great.
the title professional development funds.
Gotcha. All right, any other questions or concerns on those? Purchase orders or quotes? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. New business, separate action items. Number 1, consider for approval the garbage contract with Republic Services at an annual cost of $86,754, beginning July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
Motion.
Motion by Randy, second. Dennis? Or anybody?
Yeah, me.
Johnita? Okay.
Yeah, whoever, yeah.
Questions or concerns?
Well, the public does my garbage and they're not really reliable.
That
And
doesn't
so I have a
anything to
few
do with
questions.
anything.
Is there anybody else or did we take bids on this?
Yes. Now, this is a renewal, but yes, we have to advertise it. We have to take bids on it. And
they're big and they do what they want,
They,
is my experience.
for the last 8 years, they've been the cheapest provider.
When was the last time
They
it was?
get yours too, don't they?
It's
Mr. Alexander.
Most of
been
the
within
time.
the last 3
Same
years.
experience.
Sometimes.
We'll typically renew up to 3 before we do it again. So it's within that 3-year period.
Mr. Alexander, I think all those schools have been satisfied, and they're my garbage people, and they do a wonderful job for me too.
Okay.
That's because they know you'll complain.
They get our garbage as well, most of the time.
Most of the time.
Question mark.
Yeah, there's a state law on bid. I'm not sure if it's 2 years. Is it 2 years? Anything over 10,000 has to be?
I believe it's 3 years.
The reason I say that is I posed that question earlier and with State Department, and I was told 2 years, anything over $10,000. So
The state finance office always tells us 3 years, and it's just a recommendation. There's no requirement. There's no, am I speaking correctly about that?
I believe you are.
I don't think it's actually written anywhere. Their recommendation is 3 years, and they've consistently told us that. And was there some legislation that they were trying to do where they were going to open that up and take it even further than 3 years?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. And anytime you guys have a concern with any of these that, we're renewing, I don't care we don't care to go through the process of rebidding those.
So do we have
typical experience is that when we rebid, the cost goes up. That's typical. So if we can get them at the same, we usually stick with that. Now it's not 100% true, but go ahead.
And I think if they tell us 3 years, we can do 3 years until we're told different.
Well, we have the option of making it less than that, but you're not sure how long ago it was we sent it to bid.
It's been within that 3-year period.
And did we have other bidders the last time?
Yes.
I think I remember it. It's been at
Yeah,
least
I
2
remember.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably the last renewal we have on it before
Right.
we have to take it back out for advertising.
But I think one that bid on it went out of business too.
It did. It was
Not this time, but a couple of times before,
right.
because they went up by our house, and then before long they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem with taking it back out if you guys would prefer to take it back out, but
I'm just not sure if we're going to get a
I'm
better.
fine with it.
it's been out at least twice since I've been here, and they've been the
Yeah.
It's gonna
cheapest.
save money, I don't mind, I'm just get irritated by them.
Well, I'll tell you, my experience with Republic is I've been with them for 3 years, and every year I'm paying about $10 more now than I was 3 years ago when I started with them. So if they're going to increase on individuals, I'm sure that this number would change as well. So,
Well, that's kind of the scary thing about the economy where it seems like everything's
Right.
going up.
so we could take a chance and,
Well, that-
rebid it, but
that was my thing when I with the mowing services, and we come in well under the other bid.
5,000 cheaper than last time.
And 5,000 to me is quite a bit of money. I mean, to some people it's not, but when you can save $5,000, then I just personally feel like if they want to continue with the service, they'll bid what they're bidding. And if they're,
possibly, or
Possibly.
Have you dealt with
it may be
big,
higher. So,
big utilities?
and there may be somebody else that's interested in it, but it's whatever the majority. I mean, I'm not going,
My experience with those big utilities, because I used to have a business where we flagged for like all the power company, water company, gas company, and everybody. They make you wait 100 days before they ever pay you. They make you bid on it. And then they charge everybody more. Take what the electric company's doing right now. Public Service Commission, they're going to raise all of our rates, aren't they? Power company? I just, if it's gonna save money, I'm not opposed. It just,
right.
I'm not real happy with it either.
Just my opinion, but I mean, we're already locked into this 86,000. We know that's what we got to pay. It's already in our budget. It's been in our budget for a couple of years now. So, I mean,
You think that this is the last year of this?
Yes.
law?
Yeah.
That being the case, I'm inclined to stay with it, but this be on the rate, well, we're
Beyond
gonna
the-
rebid it
right.
next year. That's kind of where I'm coming.
I would agree with that. Well, let's take a vote and we'll see where we land. So all in favor of continuing the garbage contract with Republic Services at $86,754?
Aye.
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 I,
Any opposed? Mark, are you in?
I'm
out?
sorry,
Are you
In, out.
in, out?
present,
Are you abstaining?
present.
I just need to know abstention? No?
Yeah, I can vote present.
Okay. Well, that's not helping me, but okay. So we'll go 4 and 1 present.
or what?
That would be 1 present.
What is that?
Abstain, yeah.
That's an abstention.
Right. So
Okay,
motion
okay.
carries 4-0, or 4-1, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, moving on to consider for approval out-of-state field trip request, pages 18 through 21. Spring Valley High School aviation maintenance students to travel to Dayton, Ohio, April 25th. And that's a CTE funded.
I would like to go on that trip.
Yeah, right?
Have you guys ever been to
To
Dayton?
the,
Is that part of like the Air Force Museum?
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, I love that place.
So that's
It's
excellent,
fantastic.
have gone quite a few times. It is awesome.
right?
I really think a board member should go.
You could chaperone. Spring Valley High School Special Needs Program to travel to Columbus Zoo on May 23rd. Wayne Elementary Kindergarten also to Columbus Zoo on May 16th. And Wayne Elementary 5th grade to Kings Island on May 30th. So
Columbus Zoo is also great, and I'm too old to go to Kings
Me
Island.
too. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mark. Second,
It's Johnita.
Johnita, was that you?
Yes, that was me.
Okay. Any questions or concerns on our field trips? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 3, consider for approval out-of-state travel request for employees to travel to Dallas, Texas for Get Your Teach On, June 29th through July 2nd. That's Title I funded.
That's Title I school funds, yes.
Yes. Employee also to travel to Naples, Florida for Carnegie Learning Leadership Conference, July 20th to the 24th. Also a Title I funded. And do I have a motion for these?
Make a motion.
Sorry, Dennis, you can have a second. Motion by Johnita, second, Dennis.
Yeah.
Any questions or concerns on the employee travel? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And number 4, consider for approval of the Wayne County Board of Education to have their annual audit performed by a certified public accountant approved by the chief inspector to perform the examinations.
Motion.
Motion by Randy,
Second.
second by Mark.
Mark.
Any questions or concerns on our audit? All right, none heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Potential items for a future agenda.
Speaking of audits, at your next regular meeting, we will have the audit for last fiscal year on the agenda. So Johnita, I know you normally attend the meeting with the auditor when he presents out, and then we turn around and present that to the board. So we'll schedule that, I think, for sometime next week before the next regular meeting to go over the audit from last fiscal year.
Okay, that's fine.
On some of that, I guess, K-12 emails we get, did we get one where the Kim Brown or somebody would remind us about our
Hours.
hours? Yeah.
You should be fine with your hours.
Yeah, Dennis, you should
Yeah, I've
be.
got a lot, but I don't mind going. It's a change, and you learn something every time.
It's usually really good information.
Even the time that I had to talk to, what's his name? Hoppy.
We still on future agenda items?
Yes.
Okay, I would like for future agenda items, I would like to, for the snow removal contracts to be worked on while the sun's shining. So this summer, I would like for that to be looked into on possible ways that we could do that for next year.
And in addition to the snow removal, we're also working on printing services. Mark graciously agreed to continue printing for us this year, but we're gonna price out and see what some of the providers in the area can provide. I'm also going to talk to some other school systems that have personnel employed full-time in the printing office to see if we can do some kind of shared agreement. So we'll see how that works out as far as cost goes and go with the best option there.
Okay.
Is that something your Mountain State group might
Yeah, can they,
share
are
out?
they,
You got to have the equipment, and you got to have the equipment. But that is an interesting point.
If we have the equipment and could
Yeah.
use it
We'd have to
to
find somebody that knew, and then maybe get some other counties to join in the cost
pay
share.
us to do it for them.
Yeah, we can bring that up tomorrow.
Okay.
That
could
would,
Mark do that at home? Just as a service, just as, any spare time.
I don't have a problem with that, Johnita, but I volunteered doing that for over a year, and my finances are a little different than they were.
Yeah, I know that. Thanks for what you did for us.
Also, maybe you have to
We
worry about
appreciate it.
conflict.
he did graciously offer to train somebody if you're interested, John Nita.
Oh, Dennis, there was no conflict because I did it for no charge, so there was no conflict.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, you and I will volunteer together.
I don't care to train somebody, but
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn. Are we done?
Yep.
She beat you, Randy.
Motion by Johnita, second,
I'll do it.
Dennis. All right, all in favor?
I just wanted to say, Jody has dinner waiting on me, and it's been hard to pay attention, okay?
You're excused.
I think
Thank
that
you.
Bye.
sedative or whatever she had on that eye surgery might be.
Did they give you something
7:12.
different when you took your
7:12.
Yeah.
surgery than I got?
She's gone.
12
Oh.
and 50, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, do we have that dinner Thursday evening?
Yes, the Teacher of the Year and Service Person of the Year is Thursday evening at 6:00
Why,
here at the church.
why you're not a Methodist?
Okay.
Suit and tie?
What time?
I want to see
6.
Johnita and Missy in a suit and tie.
Thank you for those that joined us online.
Okay, did he say 6 o'clock?
He
Yep,
did.
6:00.